Hello, and welcome back to Music with a Twist. This is 1962 and episode 5. Today, we are going to talk about a book called A Clockwork Orange. First, let's try to figure out what Clockwork Orange actually means. And it is a Cockney expression used to describe something that is as queer as a clockwork orange. And it has the appearance of an organism, lovely, with color and juice, but is, in fact, only a clockwork toy to be wound up by God, the devil, or the almighty state. That is quoted from the author. Now, what he's trying to say here is that the government and society are to blame for the delinquency of its citizens, prescribing good behavior through the use of drugs and aversion therapy. And one of the major points of this book is about where free will comes into play and how important it is to have that free will and not be dictated by the government or the powers that be of what is good and bad behavior.
Introduction. A Clockwork Orange Resucked. I first published the novella A Clockwork Orange in 1962, which ought to be far enough in the past for it to be erased from the world's literary memory. It refuses to be erased, however, and for this, the film version of the book made by Stanley Kubrick may be held chiefly responsible. I should myself be glad to disown it for various reasons, but this is not permitted.
Our first song today is another song by Brenda Lee. Now, I just found out recently that she was Dolly Parton's idol when Dolly Parton was growing up. And when they finally met, they became very good friends. And one of the reasons is because they're both very, very short, with Brenda Lee being only 4'9" and Dolly Parton being only 5'1". So that and the fact that their husbands went to high school together. They became fast friends, and you can actually even find online videos of the two of them singing together. It's very cute. And here is one of my favorite songs by Brenda Lee, Break It to Me Gently.
So, missus. What's the hypo for, then? Gonna send me to sleep?
Oh, no, nothing of the sort.
Vitamins, will it be, then?
Something like that. You're a little undernourished, so after each meal, we're going to give you a shot. Roll over on your right side, please. Loosen your pajama pants and pull them halfway down.
That was Alex, the main character of our book, A Clockwork Orange, getting therapy for his very, very violent tendencies. A Clockwork Orange was written by Anthony Burgess. And Anthony Burgess tried to write it in a way in which he downplayed the violence to a certain extent. I found it to still be very disturbing. But I'm trying to think now if that might have been because of the things that I'd heard of the movie by Stanley Kubrick, or if it was strictly from my reading of A Clockwork Orange. And I'm really going to have to go back and study that, because Anthony Burgess says that when he went and saw the movie that Stanley Kubrick had done of his book, that a lot of the violence that he had tried to keep kind of obscure through the way he wrote it and through the language that he actually made up on his own, mixed between Russian and English. That all of that violence was laid out in the open in very gory detail, and that he was never able to see his own book the same again. So I've got to see if maybe the things that I've heard about the movie have influenced what I thought about the book. I'll have to check on that. Our next song is another song by Patsy Cline. And Patsy didn't like all of the songs that she recorded. Some of them she had to be kind of pushed into. But this was her favorite song. She instantly loved this song the minute she heard it. She learned it on the spot, and she was ready to record. Now, the song only hit number 14 for Patsy, but in 1977, Loretta Lynn did a remake of, and it hit number 1 on the U.S. Billboard charts.
I've got your picture. You gave it to me. And inside the love, just like it used to be. The only thing different, the only thing new. I've got your picture. She's got you.
Now, in an interview, McDowell, who played Alex in the movie, the adaptation, claims that when they were on the set, that it felt like they were on the set of a comedy. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I ask you this question. This is the overall moral to the book, supposedly. Which is more moral? A kid who consistently and freely does evil, or a reformed criminal that has been brainwashed to choose only good? Let that be food for thought. For our last song, I'm going to do a song that Elvis used as the last song for many of his concerts. He originally recorded it for the movie Blue Hawaii, and when his producers heard the demo, they didn't really like it. But Elvis insisted on recording it, and it became a major hit. Here is I Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay?
Well, that wraps us up for 1962. My advice for this week is if you are going to try to experience A Clockwork Orange, do it with an audiobook. And this is why. The movie, the author of the book didn't even like it. And way too violent. To read the book with the youth speak, the mix between Russian and English, too mind-numbing. It was doable with the audiobook. I actually got used to it, and it was a very interesting story. Still a little bit violent, but I think you can handle it. All right, see you next week when we get into 1963.